continuing on talking about the 9 ways that a millionaire real estate agent thinks. And last week we set the foundation that the 2 foundational ways that we must think in order to grow large businesses is that we must think powered by a big why. At the end of the day, our lives must be in alignment to what really matters, right? It must be congruent to our values. It must be congruent to what's going to cause us to be motivated and get up every single day to make it happen. So we need to be keenly aware of why we do what we do, why it truly matters to us at a deep emotional level, and then make sure that we're connecting to that on a regular basis. The second foundational way that we must think is we must think big goals and big models. We are going to build big businesses. We must think big goals and big models. We're so often limited by small thinking. Then we jumped into thinking possibilities, thinking action, think without fear. And today we're going to talk about think progress. Think progress. So thinking progress is about the knowledge that breakthroughs, how many of you need a breakthrough? Talking to you then, that breakthroughs come more often than not through effort and perseverance. That breakthroughs come more often than not through efforts and perseverance. Statistically speaking, the more you do something, the more likely you are to succeed, right? The more likely you do something, the more likely you are to succeed. So if I told you there's a 1 in 1,000 chance of something happening, a millionaire real estate agent says, so you're saying there's a chance. Okay, that's my one movie line. If you got it, you got it. All right, so you're saying there's a chance, right? So essentially, if it's 1 in 1,000 chance, if you do something then 1,000 times, right, you're going to achieve it. So sometimes we look at that, we go, oh, 1 in 1,000 chance. I'm like, oh, you're saying there's a chance. So it's 1 in 1,000 chance. I just need to do this 1,000 times to get the result. So thinking progress is all about that the results, that the success comes in time on task over time. The more we do something, the more likely we are to get good at it, the more likely we are to achieve. So they did a study where they took 2 groups of students and they gave them a project that they had to make pottery. And in the first group, they said, you are going to make 1 pot and you need to make the perfect pot. And you're going to get graded on how beautiful and amazing this one ceramic pot is. Only 1 pot, though, you can make. And then the second group, they said, you're going to get graded on making 50 pounds of pottery. Okay. So if you make less than 50 pounds of pottery, your grade is going to be deducted. The only way that you can get an A is by making 50 pounds of pottery. So what ends up happening between these 2 groups is that the group who made 1 pot actually made a subpar pot to the group that made 50 pounds. Why? Because time on task over time, they started realizing through mistakes, right? And through failures and through honing things and through doing it again and again, they actually got better and better and better at it. And they actually, in the quantity, produced more quality. So the quality is found in the quantity, right? Your quality leads are found in quantity. You want to have the absolute best leads, you need more leads because the quality will be found in the quantity. Okay. So I'm going to give you 3 things that I took away from this chapter. And the first thing is that perfection is overrated. Perfection is overrated because who says it's perfect? Now, if you are a true perfectionist on this screen, this is a hard one for you. And the truth is, if you're a true perfectionist, is it ever perfect? Nope. Nope. So you are actually shooting for a losing target by shooting for perfection, right? Because it's never actually going to be perfect, right? So perfection is overrated. Perfection is overrated. What we're looking for is progress. What we're looking for is growth. What we're looking for is increase. Perfection is overrated. So all you perfectionists, get over yourself. Progress. You think progress. Number 2, make sure you're giving time on task over time. So we've always taught it takes 3 months to get into momentum on anything, right? Momentum doesn't happen overnight, right? Because momentum happens because of time on task over time, or push consistently. And then all of a sudden, something starts to move a bit on its own, right? And I think so many times we just don't give things enough time to grow, right? So we start a new lead generation method, right? And so what we do is we go out, we start planting seeds, and we stare at them for about 1 week, and nothing's happening with them. We ran, some Facebook ads through command. We started door knocking. We did a whopping 2 open houses, right? And we're looking a week later going, I got nothing from this. And we literally go and we rake up all the seeds we just planted and said, I'm going to go do something different. I'm going to plant all these new seeds, right? As opposed to planting seeds, giving them time to water, cultivating them, let the sun shine on them and give them time to grow, right? We get incredibly impatient. So that's not to say you don't watch your ROI on lead generation and pull the plug when something is not working, okay? So you can also sit on something for too long that's not effective, right? So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about not giving things time to get into momentum. Right? So any new lead generation, you got to give it 3 months. And here's what I say, you got to give it 3 months of true time on task over time. If you're not all in on that lead gen method, if you're not doubled down on it, if you're not putting that action and that activity on it, and you say it's not working, you're not working, ladies and gentlemen. Only a couple of y'all laughed. Maybe that stung. Okay. Number 3 is learn to rest and not to quit. Learn to rest and not to quit, okay? We get tired in life. We get tired in business, and we need to rest. Be strategic, though, with your rest. Be strategic with your rest. Be strategic with your refueling. Learn to rest and not to quit. I think so often we get tired, we get burned out, we get wore out, and we take the foot totally off the gas, and we walk away, and we lose any momentum that we've built along the way. We lose any progress. And then all of a sudden we're kind of starting back from scratch, or starting back at the beginning. Okay. Don't do that. You've worked too hard. You've come too far. Don't do that. Learn to rest, to be strategic of how and when you do that, how you refuel your tank. I'm going to tell you, a lot of times the rest we need is not stopping. It's oftentimes refueling. It's refocusing. It's re-energizing, right? It's not always sleep that our body needs. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's a better diet. Sometimes it's exercise. It's actually more activity that will actually cause us to have more energy. Okay. So learn to rest, not to quit. All right. So the way you should think as an MREA today is to think progress, think progress, think progress.